you can cancel your order on Amazon, or you can even cancel an event which is going to take place, somewhere in the future. But can you cancel a person? Hello, everyone.
I'm Rahul Deodhar.
I am Prasanna Naidu, and you are listening to the RightVIEWS podcast. So, to the question which I asked before, the answer is yes. Okay, you can cancel a person. They are calling it the cancel culture. And now we are discussing this because recently an employee was removed from the media company named Ghana. Okay, you all must have heard about the Ghana company, at least, not if not the incident. And because she was removed because of her anti-Hindu tweets, which became viral recently, and people on Twitter started demanding for her resignation. So let's get into it. What exactly means to be cancelled? So I don't know. It sounds funny to me to be cancelled. Okay, so cancel culture. From what I read, it's like promoting the cancelling of people, brands, even shows and movies due to what someone considers to be offensive, problematic. So this offensiveness of problematic can be due to any problematic remarks or ideologies, etc. And this happened as I shared the incident about the Ghana employee. So because of her anti-Hindu tweets, some of the people started, all those things usually happen: boycott Ghana, this, that, uninstalling the Ghana app, and one star rating it on the Play Store and all that stuff.
And then we had initially one on Titan also after the ads. People were against Titan. Yeah. So they had made some ads about a Hindu girl married to a Muslim family and that kind of thing.
Acha, ha. Yeah, I remember. Right.
Yeah.
So this happens. But the point is, there are two sides. Like, the brand gets affected, and this Ghana, the Ghana company doesn't know about all of the employees, what they are doing in their personal lives. Okay. They came to know about this girl because of public pressure. Right? If there was no public pressure, she would have been working there peacefully, or however she was working there, and it would have been continued. Firstly, the question is, if you have problem with the tweets of that girl, why boycott the company?
No, I think this is not just related to person and company. You have to look at cancel culture in different sense. In fact, what has happened is that cancel culture is being dominant. It is started in the West, of course, and there were
No. I mean, from what I understand, cancel culture, the term may be popular now because of the West, but this is something going on from ages, not only in the West, but also in India. It is kind of ostracizing someone, right?
Yes, it is ostracizing. It is ostracizing, but what we have is a different kind of ostracizing. This is what we have discussed in Ghana's case is basically employee being ostracized for her views, and this has been going on in a recent times in West more dominantly. And if you see, like, the first in the West, what has happened is that this has been the tool which has been deployed by the left to sort of curtail the voice of the right. So in the latest case, the Disney franchise on Star Wars, they have cancelled Gina, the actress Gina, I forget her last name, but she was cancelled because she said something about the Holocaust which was very benign. Okay, it was nothing controversial, but you're not allowed to say something. They were trying to get her into they were trying to find something which is troubling for to remove her, and that's how she fell into the trap, and they cancelled her show and all sorts of things against her. Before that, there was an incident where a video of a cheerleader or a person who was hoping to join the cheerleading squad of a very famous college, her video singing a rap song in which the N word was there, was released, and she was 12 at that time, and when she joined the college she was like 17 or something. So they released The one fellow released her video from 12 years old, when she was 12 years old, that he had saved that video and he released it, and she had to quit the college, or the college had to fire her. So this is the extent of the cancel culture that we are facing. So when you
so you mean to say this is the extent of the stupidity it can go to?
It can, yes. For example, let's say if Prasanna, you in let's say when you were in class 10, you would have said,
I don't want to talk about what I did in class 10
No.
when I was 12 years old.
I get it, but when you were in class 10, suppose you had written an essay, okay, about, let's say, just take a benign topic. Let's say you had written an essay about how climate change is not real. Let's assume you had written a video, okay. You had written an essay in 10th standard, some paper, maybe an exam paper, and that paper someone had kept, okay.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, now suppose you go and say, I seriously believe climate change, we have to work on this or something of that sort. Then they will say, see, Prasanna Naidu, when he was 15 years old, he had said in his essay that climate change is not real, and therefore, he can't be in this environmental panel. And then you will be kicked out of that environmental panel, and that's the extent to which we have come. And to come to the next point, like when you, let's say you get employed, you go to a company, you say, please employ me. So they say, what do you want? What is your role? So I mean, this is the company saying, you join us as let's say, a cashier or an accountant. So you are supposed to take company's books and look at that. Now your personal views about whatever the company is doing, I mean, if you have no objections working for, let's say you are a vegetarian and you are working for a company which is into processed meat or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and you are an accountant, so you are doing an accounting job. Okay, you are just looking at the balance sheet saying, this is how the cost should be classified. Are you allowed to do that? And then suppose someone says, how can you employ Prasanna? He's a vegetarian. You can't employ him. You have to fire him, and you get fired. So that is unfair. Now, you bring in all sorts of elements into this, but at the base of it, at the bottom line, it's a differentiation between a company, the role you're promised and you're doing in a company, and your personal beliefs. Now, let's say you have some weird beliefs. Let's say you believe Earth is flat. Okay, many people still believe in 20th century that Earth is flat. So if you are one of those, and suppose you are discovered that you are working in a planetarium and you believe Earth is flat, you should be fired. Is it allowed? And this is the question, because to what extent your personal life is you are giving and tying up into your professional life. Now,
and not only personal life, it's going way beyond, like into the past. Okay, so what I did 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and you are comparing it to the present person. What we have.
So you are not allowed to change your views. So, okay, if as a 2-year-old you liked milk and you hated, let's say, Coke or Pepsi, because 2-year-old, I mean, who likes like that? Or when you hated tea, or let's say, let's not go into Coke and Pepsi, but let's say or 4-year-old, 5-year-old, you did not like tea. Now you can't like tea. If you like tea, you will be cancelled. That's not correct. That's the taking it to an extreme. But having said that, you look at it from the other side. Okay, when a person in position of influence, okay, let's say your boss in your company, you have a company where 500 of you are working for one person, or your department is of 500 people, and this person is the head of this department, and he's like, everyone is the head of department, your salary is determined by him, and he says that everyone should, people who wear red color, or maroon color specifically, because I am wearing them, are all bad people, and they should be, you should no one should ever like maroon color. Okay, that's how if they say. Now, if he says and he strongly believes people who, and he just demonstrates it once or twice, people who like maroon color did not fare well. Guess what color nobody in the 500 people is going to wear to office? No one is going to wear maroon. Nobody is going to be caught wearing maroon in that office campus. But now imagine this fellow is going, so now what you have done is, because you have a position of influence, you have a position of power, you are imposing your personal views on the people who are in a position where they have to accept your views. So you have freedom of views. You don't have a right where your views should be imposed on the others. So I can have my view, I can have any radical view. Earth is flat, Earth is, probably a square or something, anything. But me imposing and forcing you to admit to that view, that is not acceptable. So if you look at it in that sense, that when you're applying this test of absurdity to a person who has a lot of influence. Now, if I am a person of influence, let's say I am that department head. Earlier, I used to communicate with these 500 people, I don't like people who wear maroon. Okay. But if I now tweet, I hate people with maroon. And all these 500 people are going to see that. That is the new sort of question that is being posed by social media. So if you have your personal opinion, keep it to yourself. This is not a professional platform. If you are identifying as a professional platform, and then you're a professional, then you are trying to influence that, then it's a difficult thing. You have to approach every interaction as a mix between personal and professional. So even if, let's say, I am a department head in a small company with 500 people reporting to me, when I'm on Twitter, I'm not alone. I'm obviously being followed by these people. Okay. And not just these people, everyone is watching me. So it's not there is a responsibility of the person who has influence to be a more pragmatic person. You can believe whatever you want to believe in person. That is, there is no harm in that.
And it's kind of a power game, because as you talk about beliefs now, I remember this. J.K. Rowling, everyone knows who J.K. Rowling is. So in one of her books or the movie of the Harry Potter, she had made something objectionable to the trans community. And that's why she was dragged into this cancel, like they were promoting is to cancel her.
No, she had not made anything against trans community. She had said something which is like there are two genders, and it's you can identify something of that sort. It's not objectionable. See, the thing is there is something which is objectionable and something which is not. Okay, like they have cancelled Martina also. Martina Navratilova, who was a beacon of gay rights in 1980s. She was the first sports woman. I mean, in 1980s, amongst the first to openly come out and say that I am a gay athlete. And that what she said was that she basically said that, biological males who identify as females should not be allowed to participate in women's games. That's all she said. It's unfair to women. That's all she said. And she got cancelled. Now they are cancelling her. So she said, I'll research and come back. After her research, now she believes what she said is right even more. So now they are saying now we will cancel her. So that's not fair. That's
and to be what she said, it's quite debatable. So both sides are okay. Not getting into that. Let's come to the topic. So this is the thing. Even influential people like J.K. Rowling, and I think Noam Chomsky also was targeted for this, or he had written some letter to cancel this. Even I found a tweet that Elon Musk, one of his tweets from last year, he said that cancel this cancel culture. So such big people are talking about it because it is really, really very problematic. For example, as we were talking like about something about our past, if we go to my 10th standard, answer sheets, as you were talking about the environment subject, I remember this climate change topic was always there in every question paper of every year, and people used to write like my if you find my answer sheet from 8, 9, 10, it would be the almost the same answer every year because what people write. But now, if you ask me about climate change, I may have something more to add, or I may have something to criticize of what I wrote 10 years back.
Exactly. Yes.
So you can't compare that. You are not the same person. Okay. Only the thing is you have the same name.
No,
many people also change the name.
No, exactly. What happens is that, let's say if you meet the person, okay, any person, if you meet physically, you don't expect him to have the same view, all the time. So in interpersonal, direct one-to-one meeting and communication, you often have this understanding that people change, and however that doesn't translate into social media. So what is happening is in social media, people are applying kind of standards which are tremendously juvenile. I'm sorry to say, but it's like class 3 or class 4 में जैसे दंगा चलता है. It's like the same thing, like they want someone as a teacher. Teacher, see, this guy is pulling my hair. Then the teacher will punish him. And this is the same thing people expect on social media. I mean, people must realize that this is a grown-up world. It is not a juvenile world. And you will not be, having this kind of a guidance or umbrella protection, sort of a protective bubble of sorts in everything. In real life, you have to face the realities that people have personal opinions. You have to respect personal opinions. When you have a personal opinion, that personal opinion itself can change, and you will find that over time people do really opposite things. If you just really look at yourself and you say, I hated exercise when I was 12, and then I liked exercise, then I hated exercise, I liked coffee, I hated coffee, now I like coffee, I was a tea person, now I'm a coffee person, now some people are beer person, now someone is saying, all that is false, only hard liquor. So, these kinds of things are there. But that doesn't mean that you will expect the world to comply to your lens. It's not your house. Just because you're tweeting from your house doesn't mean the world is your house. In your house, your rules apply. That also not always.
Yeah.
If you're married, your wife's rules apply. If you're, if you are living with your parents, your mom's rules apply. But that's what's the reality. So, but in any case, what I'm saying is that in what you are saying or what you are expecting of social media is that there will be some monitor, class monitor, or a principal or a teacher, and that hierarchy will continue. It is not going to be like that. You have to fend for yourself, and when you have to fend for yourself, you will be in a more decent and approachable person on social media. The thing is that if you are not facing the repercussions, as many are not, so what happens is I can tweet anything. I can just abuse a person online. Saying, I don't like this person. Let me say, you are stupid. I am telling you an example. This one professor friend of mine, I think he's like more than 75, but he's at least more than 70. Okay. And he's an expert in demographics and studies of that sort. And what happened was his students convinced him to join Twitter. Now, he is not aware of Twitter and all that. He wrote some of his research, whatever he has deduced from his years of research. Like he's 75. He has been researching this for like 40 years, 50 years. Suddenly some fellow comes up online, you're stupid, and he's like flustered. 75, okay, this is the comment, the first comment or something, like early comments he was reading, because he never reads. I mean, he's not clued into Twitter and all. And he said, he was like very dejected, and then his students told him, this is Twitter. It happens. It doesn't matter that you have such a long experience in this field. Some random fellow will come up and say that you're stupid, and that's how it is. So you can't really, this is. So these people who come up and abuse an expert or abuse people who have done a lot of research without any repercussions. It's like unruly class. Okay. If you imagine your school days, and when there was no teacher, no monitor, the class used to, people used to throw paper at each other, chalks were thrown. I don't know. Nowadays, do people remember chalks or, not? But, they used to throw chalks, they used to throw papers at each other, and all these things. Paper planes would be flying everywhere, and these kinds of things happened. And once teacher comes in, it is like almost like full discipline. So this is not that time. It's all, even when you are in social media, it is public place. You have to behave with the same decorum, and this kind of rules evolve. So in general, when a child grows up, a child is introduced to society, and he understands, there are rules to interact. You can't just shout and throw tantrums. You can't throw things at others. Those things you realize. You can't talk at the top of your voice all the time. Children understand that by watching people. In social media, what has happened, everyone has joined in at the same time. So there is no evolved etiquette of response. And that is also the part of things. But the point is that people behave as if there is no repercussions. And that is why people behave in a very crude manner. So when the repercussions come, the people who are on the other side of the receiving end of these crude behaviors, they give a repercussion which is very, very strong. Now, like, eat ka jawab patthar se is what is happening on this. A person should not lose his or her jobs for his personal views, because the job is nothing to do with personal views unless the job is influencing people. And if you are in a position of influence, then what you have said, what you are saying matters a lot more than, So you can't expect everyone to have the same standard. So if you are saying ki you are, let's say, a teacher, why do we have, if you see a doctor and the doctor is not properly dressed, he's dead, not in a good clean clothes, he's dirty. He's like, looks like he's not shaved for like, I don't know, like it's not like because he's maintaining a beard or something, but it's like, looks like, he's not had a bath for like 5-6 days. Please, doctors, don't please mind, because I've seen some of these doctors, so that's why I'm saying. But, you have to realize, people expect something from you. And if you go to a clinic, the doctor comes out and say, you see a person properly presenting himself, and then you say, okay, he's a doctor, and you have that kind of a respect. So that is.
So you are just saying that someone with authority must have that responsibility, but not others. For example, if the CEO of Ghana company would have said that, then it would have been something.
I don't know what
an employee.
Yes, but no, what position she had. If she had a position, let's say if she was simply a person who is doing, let's say we had used an example of accounting. She's just an accountant at Ghana. She should not be losing her job. If she's in the business of promoting artists, then she is using her opinion, is using her judgment. Then yes, you have a cause to say that her judgment is not rational. Then you should not use her. Okay. But you have to understand where do you think her judgment is
also
applicable.
that judgment also that must be of a kind of a opinion, not a forceful thing. Like you can say that if she is not competent to be in that position, but you can't say that just remove her, boycott her, or something like that.
Exactly. You can't remove someone. Let's say, suppose it's an opinion held which has got no relation with the job, okay, or it is an opinion which is held on a personal level, which has got no relevance to what she is going to influence or he is going to influence. Like Martina Navratilova is an expert in sports. If she says that, gender, you have to take her opinion, and you can't cancel her because she's already retired. I mean, what are you going to cancel her for now? But the thing is, when you go after people like her or J.K. Rowling is a billionaire. She can buy 10 of you at the same time. What are you going to cancel her for? So you can't do that. And that is one important aspect of it. Is that simply going after people because of their opinion is a bad idea. You have a right to free opinion, and however, remember this, that when I have some radical opinion, and I say I have a right to free opinion, people have also the right to criticize me for that opinion. I can't cry, like a baby when someone says, look, he hit me. I have a right to hit you, but then you also have a right to hit me. Okay, yeah, so if I hit you, I say, I have the right to hit him. But when you hit me, I start crying like a baby, look, teacher, he hit me. That's not fair. That's what people have come to.
Also, I came across this one case where it is not only about beliefs or something you do regularly or talk about it, but here this person was working in some company, and he was in some public place. He was talking to an elderly woman in a very harsh manner. Like, it may be very bad, in a bad way. So some guy clicked a video of him, and then that video went viral, and then the people started canceling him. After this video went viral, within hours, his job was gone from the company. And the company came out in support of that people, thank you for, sharing the video, and, telling us that this employee is like that. So we don't need such employees, etc., etc. But, okay, he would have behaved in a very harsh manner, very bad manner. I don't know. I agree to that if that's true. But removing that is the solution, because job is something we all know what are the responsibilities and what all things you have. Okay, you need a stable income, you have loans to pay, you have the family to feed, you have many other things to do, and within few hours, just because of this one incident, all of the things are gone. What you will do? For example, in that Ghana case, the first thing is that your job is gone. Okay, secondly, you have a lot of the embarrassment to go through. Thirdly, the trauma you will go through afterward. And fourthly, when you go at some other company, the company will be hesitant to hire you if they know about it.
Exactly. No, this is exactly. But I'm going to now argue the opposite, because now viewers will get a chance to understand that we argue both sides, because I'm being a lawyer.
Yeah, sure. Obviously, in the Ghana case, what that employee tweeted, I obviously don't support the tweets.
No, okay. Let
those are anti-Hindu tweets.
Exactly, exactly. No, see, there are 2-3 principles like in criminal law. What we say first is between crime and punishment there has to be a proportionality. Okay. Secondly, there is always 2 sides to a story. So in that case where that person was abusing or seemingly abusing an old lady, you have to see what happened and why he was doing it. Whether he usually does it. If he was usually doing it, why was still he being employed? If he is a usual, he is an abusive person in real life, why were you holding him as an employee? That is a question that there is a more serious problem for the management to answer. But there are always 2 sides to a story, and you should never judge based on a small clip. Okay, and there is this famous movie, I forget the name. It's a Japanese director has made the movie where he has shown a murder happening from variety of angles. So it is about a murder which happens, and there are 6 people who witness that, and each of them witnesses a different story. Each one comes out with a different story. One says, it was a love affair gone wrong, something like that, and everyone makes her own story, and it's shown through 6 different lenses, and everyone believes in a completely different reality of that what incident had happened in front of their eyes or whatever. So it's like that. So when we see a clip, we see only one part of that, what people want us to see. So it's not always the reality. In fact, in my experience, we have seen in the court when one person is stating his case, it seems his case is absolutely true. He is the most unfortunate person in the whole wide world, and all illegalities of government has committed or the opponent has committed has been, entirely hitting him, and his whole life has been destroyed by the opponent, and the opponent is the most evil, like Gabbar or Mogambo type person, and this happens till the opponent starts opening his mouth. And the minute opponent opens his mouth, you realize the opponent is the most divine person, and this original party is the most evil person, and then you get confused. So this is the whole essence of it. There are always two sides to a story. Never judge without having heard both sides from their own perspective. You can bring in your own perspective, and it is not going to help the cause at all. You have to hear their own perspective. One person is saying, I want water. Then you say, he was taking water. And the other person says, no, he was going to take the golden watch which was next to the bottle of water. So you have to say, that's why I beat him. And then, I wanted water. Why did you beat me? So all these things, and then, our journalists are fantastic. They will come with saying, let me see, first let me ask, what is the religion of these two people? What is the caste of these two people? We will ask them, is there gender bias? Let's take the gender, if it is, someone with a pet, then, a guy with a pet was beaten up. What is a pet got to do with it? If a pet owner is robbing, you will say he is a robber. Why will you want to, the pet has got nothing to do. But you will say, no, if he has a pet, so he must be the good guy. It's not. You can't bring in your own things. You have to understand the story from their own point, not from your point. Your point may be completely different. You might be from a city or culture where people wearing red or maroon are very good people, and people wearing, what color t-shirt are you wearing? Green. So people wearing green are bad people. Or you might be coming from another city or culture where people wearing green t-shirts are good people and maroon t-shirts are bad people. You can't impose that on any perspective into any situation. So you have to analyze the situation from the person's perspective. Let him get let him state his views, and then you decide, and you have like it's always said, let those who have not committed a sin throw the first stone. That is exactly what is the principle. So you have to understand that when bringing in our main important principle. So how to analyze this? This is the main question. Okay, how to analyze any question, any incident? So you have to believe in the I like to use the Yudhishthir as a test. You have to understand the person's dharma. What is his duty in that role? Whatever he was doing, whatever she was doing. What is his duty in that role and various roles that he is performing? What is his duty as a person in doing all those duties? If he's performing all these duties and having an opinion which is not against any of these duties, then he is right. Then you have to let him have his opinion. If his opinion is conflicting with any of his duties or if any of his roles, then you have to say he has to bear some punishment. But the punishment has to be in proportion to the kind of incident or whatever, you can call it crime, but whatever his action is, it has to be
also the punishment must be in a civilized manner.
It has to be in a civilized manner. Exactly. You can't just pounce on a person just because, it's like, you imagine this. Suppose this were a real life. Okay. Real life, if this was happening, a person is going into a garden, okay, and shouting out 140 or 400 characters. Nowadays, how many it is? 400 characters, right? A tweet is
in Twitter. Yeah.
So you're
400. Yeah.
So you're shouting 400 character lines out in a garden, okay, where there are hundreds of thousands of people each shouting his own thing, and then you start to go and go out of the garden. Suddenly, 10 people pounce on you and beat you up. Is that valid? It's not valid. This is the real life equivalent sort of what we are doing. But my point is that there has to be a proportionality. He has to be held accountable. Now, who has to hold it accountable? That is another Pandora's box. Twitter thinks that they can hold anyone they find, they like, they can hold them accountable. So if they like Donald Trump, they will say that Donald Trump is good for, more people joining Twitter, then they will promote his account. Donald Trump is not retweeting from US president, he is tweeting from his own personal account. Here is his account. You follow Donald Trump, they will show in all of our feeds. And then once they think, Donald Trump is saying something which is not good, then they will say, ban Donald Trump.
Ban the account.
Yeah. So this is again a form of cancel culture. Donald Trump is now, you cannot understand what he's thinking. So suppose you have an opinion that of whatever is the opinion about, if your opinion
Donald Trump is a bad example, by the
way. Yeah, we might get cancelled. that is another aspect of it. So, but that is what it is. You can't express your opinion, then you are not So you either. So that's what is the thing. Who can exercise this punishment? Who can give this punishment? There is also limiting. Twitter or anyone cannot come out and say, I am a private company. I will decide who will stay and who will go. No. If you have chosen to be a platform, you can't decide. We will create avenues. We will decide. There will be a judge and whatever, legal process. You file a complaint. If this person is making this, is a proportional thing. Now, law is always 20 years behind everyone. Because physically also it is behind. Today we are dealing with cases. Second appeal mein to 91 scene is going on. So 30 years behind. So that is where a question of law is being decided, right? Second appeals is where the question of law is decided, not question of fact. So it takes that much time. So we are 30 years behind. So we are not even in internet age. In 91, there was no cell phone, no internet. Just computers had come into India. Internet wasn't there. Many of, I don't know, you were born? I don't think you were born, right?
In
1991.
No.
So you were not there. So, we are still there in terms of courts and legal systems. So that is another aspect of law. So when you bring in law for social media changes every 3 months. Like Orkut nobody has heard of Orkut. You know what is Orkut?
I had an account.
Oh, okay. So you are old in terms of social media. But no one knows Orkut. Friend feed. Do you know friend feed?
No, friend feed.
So there are many of these things that are changing every 3 months. So you need to have a separate structure. And that's what, have you recently had a chance to see the Macron video? Where Macron it was very popular few weeks back. I think 1 or 2 weeks back. So Macron said that, Twitter and all, how did you cancel Donald Trump? We have a process. You can't just act unilaterally. We have to act based on our law and fundamental principles, the constitution, due process has to be followed. What if, a person, like nowadays everyone comes out with the excuse that this is a hacked account. And, they make a, radical tweet and then they say, oh, my account was hacked. So who has the time to hack your account? And if your account can be hacked that easily, please change your password from password. Don't keep your password as password. At least do that. So
password 123.
Password 123. Then someone said password 124 is the safest password. Why? Because everyone uses 123. I said, come on. So cancel culture is like a mob justice in terms of social media. But what we have to understand is there are three levels. One is there has to be a mechanism to understand both sides of the story. Then there is a dharmic angle. What is the duty of the person in the variety of roles that he performs? Like, for example, I'll give you an example of this. Because let's say if you are a person who has a lot of following amongst children, and if you make videos which are not safe for work, those kinds of videos, then is it okay? It's not okay. Why Miley Cyrus was criticized when she started her her singing culture? Because she was a youth icon for young teenage people who were like, 7, 8, 9 to probably 13, 14. And then she became older. But then people said, now the girls or boys who were watching her as a kid in that Disney princess or whatever she was playing, now they are seeing this side of her, and that is considered to be her problem. That is why she is not accepted. Now, this is what I'm saying. If you are having that role, then you cannot act in a manner which is against your duty. So I'll tell you another story because like for example, in one instance there was a actor, in olden times in Kings, I think Krishna Devaraya's court. He came dressed as a sadhu, and then he did whatever he had to do with acting and all. The king was very impressed. So he said, "I'll give you 100 gold coins or whatever." And the sadhu said, "No." And then he went back. He said, fantastic. And he went back, and then he came as an actor. And then he said, you can give me some bakshis. So he said, I just offered you 100 gold coins. You said no. He said, I was a sadhu then. How can I accept? If I accept 100 gold, then it will not be fair. So then the king gave him 200 gold coins. The reason because he was true to his act. Okay, he was performing a role. This actor was performing a role and his behavior was in tune with that role. So you have to be in tune with whatever roles you are performing. And you are performing many roles. You are a father, brother, sister, whatever, mother, all your roles are in you. So you cannot dissociate your person from your roles. So you have to act in a responsible manner. And that's why, when you say, and there was another video where a professor was dancing with the student in a particularly weird manner. This is in US. So the other students were feeling uncomfortable. Nobody told them to feel uncomfortable. It is like two consenting adults, right? Doing a dance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're college, it's a college. But a professor dancing with a student on a song which is particularly, which made students uncomfortable, you must see what is the, this is what is the duty which has been breached. Now, there is nothing wrong legally. And this is the beauty of, if you can watch the principles of Indic law versus principles of Western law, that video on our channel. But this is the difference between your duty in variety of roles. You are a teacher. Even though your students have graduated, you're still a teacher. You will always be their teacher. Now, you can't imagine your guru, okay, like, when you have a problem, you go to your guru and then the guru behaves in a weird way. It can't be. The guru is always guru. That's why we say, guru is like God. So now you cannot behave like this with a God, right? So now you have to have that standard. I will pay respects to you. You are always respected. You are there. I am here. And that's why that difference will be maintained. And that is the essence. you have a role to play, and all your roles you have to be true to them. If you are acting in a way which is not true to your roles, then you will have to bear the consequences. The third part is that the consequences cannot be determined randomly by Twitter, saying, I will pull out of the hat like that lottery system. Today I will take action against Prasanna. So what has he done? Well, please tweet. Then you say, Prasanna tweeted this, that, and then we'll decide. And then it can't be that.
Then boycott Prasanna will try.
Yeah. So it can't be that. It has to be done in a proper process. Of course, the other person has to be given an opportunity to share what his or her position is. Suppose you find that that person is a victim of all this thing. Okay. Forget, Ghana and all these people, but let's assume that there is a case where the person is being victim of whatever, act. And he is saying, I don't like this. You can't ban him. So that's what one fellow said. He started banning the Jews for making a tweet, saying Holocaust is bad. He said, I am a Jew. You can't ban me for saying Holocaust is bad. Then they say, oh, we didn't know you are a Jew. He is a aggrieved party. His grandfather or grandparent was in that camp. So he is authorized to say that it is a bad or whatever, any tweet by any person can be pulled up. That's not the process. You have to hear both sides. And finally, the punishment has to be in proportion to whatever misbehavior he has done. So you can't say, he's just, he's saying Sachin Tendulkar is bad, so ban him. It is his opinion. He is right to hold an opinion. Sachin Tendulkar. Some people are saying Virat Kohli is better than Tendulkar. So they are saying, no, ban those people. So other people are saying Sachin Tendulkar is better than Virat Kohli. Ban those people. It's not like that. Everyone is entitled to their views. And you can have a debate and always healthy respect. And, sometimes in law we call it as truffles. Basically, it's a small matter. You will not interfere in this. So you have to ignore those and you have to take action against serious people. At the same time, the last point that we want to say is that you need to evolve a certain etiquette for social media, which is not there. It is just like a classroom now. It's too juvenile.
Yeah.
So it's like a class monitor ke paas jata hai, someone pulled my ponytail, someone is throwing chalks at me. These kinds of complaints are coming. Those things have to be, sorted.
And actions are taken on it. Severe actions are taken
severe, disproportionate
that is the problem.
Yes. And that should go away. So once you have sorted all these 5 things, then you will find that cancel culture is subsiding. And hopefully we'll have a better discussion online. Will that ever happen is a question. But
yeah, we will surely have a discussion online before RightVIEWS or Prasanna or Rahul get banned or cancelled. Okay. So to conclude this, I can say that what comes to my mind is we can have, or at least we must have a discussion on this, a debate on this, that we must have something, a parallel judicial structure to counter such complaints or things, right?
Exactly, which is a body to evaluate whether this is thing, and it can't be randomly by Twitter or someone. It has to be a proper construction has to take place. So there has to be some sensible way to impose. It can't be like class monitor system. So. So you have to have some systematic way to deal with it. It can't be done with our courts or courts in general, because it will be like that is going to be 30 years late. Imagine in 2050 when there is no Twitter or no Instagram or no Facebook, and a case will come up saying you posted this on Twitter. So, what is Twitter? The advocate will not know what is Twitter. What is this Twitter? It was some.
First thing is this time thing that courts are way their workload is so much. Secondly, they are not at all updated with the technology.
Correct,
So
correct.
first you have to understand many judges that what is a tweet, what is an Instagram story, and then it started from there. So we can't do it with the current system. We need something, a parallel structure to counter this, and yeah, that's what is needed, and people must talk about it mainly.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that note, let's conclude this episode. Thank you all for listening us, and do follow us on Instagram, Twitter before our account gets banned or cancelled, and also follow us on YouTube where we post different videos on our channel, and follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcast or Google Podcast from wherever you listen to our podcast, so that you get updated with the new episodes. And if you want to check out our older episodes, there are around 20-21 episodes which we have published, so you can listen to that and give us some feedback also. And yeah, that's it. Thank you all for listening.
And suggest any new topics if you have any topics in mind, and join us next week for Instagram Live.
Yeah, sure. We'll try to be
regular with this.
Frequently regular with this weekly. Okay, yeah. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Bye bye.